You know, Will Rogers once said, when you find yourself in a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. We got to stop digging immediately. The spending has to immediately stop. We need to stimulate our economy to get out of this mess. So step one, stop the spending. Step two, stimulate the economy. And I don't mean a stimulus package. You're the stimulus package. One of the things we can do right away is cut the marginal tax rate from 10% to 5% and from 15% to 10%. If we cut those marginal tax rates on folks working, that puts about $3,500 in the paycheck of every Rhode Islander immediately. The next thing we need to do is we need to build an economy, a vibrant economy from the top down as well. Right now we offer a $20,000 tax credit for new companies that invest in technology or new equipment or new processes in their business. That needs to be increased to $100,000. We need to make sure that that money is going back into the economy so that folks are out buying equipment and servicing equipment and building this economy from the ground up. And you're the ones that are going to do it because you're going to get your money back. But we need to absolutely stop the spending immediately. Now, unlike my colleague here, Mr. Zakaria, my opponent was voted the biggest spender in Rhode Island by the National Taxpayers Federation. He has never seen a spending program that he hasn't jumped on with both feet and run with. So that's the kind of behavior we need to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, you have absolutely no idea how terribly bad it is in Providence and what goes on up there. Each year, anyone want to take a guess? Anyone want to take a guess in this room tonight how many new Rhode Island general laws are proposed by the General Assembly each year? Whoever said 2,000 was right on it. 2,000 new Rhode Island general laws each year. Now, how many of them actually become law? Anybody want to take another guess? 600. Every year, you get 600 new laws. It's incredible. And exactly, for what? Now, the specific question was about unfunded mandates, and you touched on my sweet spot about unfunded mandates. Since 2005, when I first got in that building, I have every year proposed legislation to relieve cities and towns of unfunded mandates and taken it one step further. When we debate the budget, I put up floor amendments to every budget to provide mandate relief. And every year, the Democrat majority in that building shoots those down. This year, we will get unfunded mandates. They have to do it, whether they want it or not. Now here's the rub. The question is, they're not going to trust cities and towns like Coventry to just waive whatever mandates you think you need to waive. They're going to be very narrow and very specific. And that's where we need to watch, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where we need to let them open the door to relieving us of unfunded mandates and drive a Mack truck through it and make sure that cities and towns make their own decisions for their own people, and we don't have Providence trying to ram new laws down your throat if they're not willing to pay for it. The first part of your question was about should the attorney generals of the states stand up and challenge the health care bill based on its constitutional basis, and I think there are several good reasons to do that. To be honest with you, that's the first I've heard of that movement, and it sounds like a great idea to me. Anything we can do at this point to slow the progress of losing basically 1/6 of our economy, I think is positive. The second question, I think, was about voting and paper ballots versus electronic. It's a two-part problem. Technically, we do have paper ballots now. You mark a paper ballot, it's fed into an electronic machine, and then it's archived. What I don't understand is that when they go to a recount process, they don't recount the paper ballots. They just check the total on the machine again. Well, what if the machine is rigged? What if there's a problem with the machine? What would be the harm into reaching into that big blue box that's underneath and saying, 1 for you, 1 for you, 2 for John, 1 for the other guy, 3 for John? And what would be the harm in doing it that way? So I think basically the answer to your question is that we need to change the statute to allow them to count the actual paper ballots, especially in the case of a recount, where we can have a true idea of what actually took place in an election. I kind of believe in the Little Compton style of politics, in the Portsmouth style of politics, in which, you know, we should, at a minimum, post legislation online so that everyone can see it, not just for 72 hours. How about a week? How about a week for every bill before it's eligible for a vote in final form so that people can actually see it? Another thing that would cut down on this whole process is an enumerated powers clause. So in other words, any legislation that's proposed by Congress has to say at the very top of it, Here's in the Constitution of the United States of America where it says we have the power to do this. And then lastly, and I may differ with some of my colleagues on this, but lastly, I believe in term limits. You know, Congress was not designed... Congress was not designed to be your career. It's designed for guys like us who have careers to go to Washington for a brief period of time, lend our expertise, and then get out. And it's a concept that these guys just don't seem to get. And I think if you did that, you'd cut down on a lot of this because you'd have fresh, new people coming in all the time with new perspectives on government, guided by a Constitution that they actually respect. Thank you.